Hello, my name is Anita. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be making a bracelet, and I'll be using beads from my stash. These are from previous orders I've gotten from different vendors. So I'll have links in the description box below where you can find some of the products used in today's tutorial. If you click more below the video, you'll get all the details, including a link to my website. And most of the pieces that I give tutorials on are for sale on my website. Usually it's just a quantity of one. So if you see something you really like, you better snatch it up because they don't last very long. So let's get started. I'll review the materials with you today. I'm using, for my stringing material, 6-pound fireline, and I'm going to use this in the crystal color. I've got size 12 beading needles here, and I like to use the John James brand. For tools, I've got a couple of pair of flat nose pliers, and that is mainly for my jump rings at the end of the project, and a pair of scissors to cut your beading thread. So for my actual materials, you're going to be needing the standard size SuperDuos, and I'll have the quantities and measurements and all that in the details of my description in the bottom of this video. And then we're using a multi-hole bead here. This is a two-hole cabochon. As you can see, it has the 2 holes, and it's got a flat back. It's a very beautiful color. This particular shade, it's a opaque hyacinth color. And I'm also using a magnetic clasp here. There's another part to this, but I've already got it on my project that I've started. And you're going to need some 6mm jump rings, about 2 of those. I've also got some 11/0 Miyuki seed beads here in galvanized gold. And so we will get started now. Okay, just to give you an idea on the pattern that we're doing today, it's super simple. So I'll show you a bracelet I've already done, and I did this in a different color palette. This is done in, it's kind of a light blue color with an AB finish. The same base color for the SuperDuo, which that is the cream color here. And then I've got my Miyuki seed beads in galvanized gold for the accents and spacing it out. And then I have my magnet clasp here at the end. It's a super easy bracelet to make, and so this is kind of what it's going to look like. And then once we get to the end, I'll talk a little bit about embellishing, and that is another option. For today's tutorial, we're just going to do the basic bracelet as you see here in this example. So first of all, you're going to start by threading your needle with 2 yards of 6-pound fireline. I'm using crystal. And we're going to start by picking up one of our SuperDuos. Now, SuperDuos are the same shape, and we're going to just say we're picking up, the left hole of our SuperDuo. We're going to bring that down, and you want to leave about a 10-inch tail so that you can have enough for your clasp at the end of the bracelet. So here is our SuperDuo with the thread coming through. We're going to now bring our needle back through the open hole of the SuperDuo where we have not been through yet. So there's our first bead. So now we're just going to hold on to this, and we're going to pick up an 11/0 in the gold, and then we're going to pick up another SuperDuo, left hole. Just keep that in your mind. You're picking up from the left hole, even though they're the same. And always check as you're doing these projects that your multi-hole beads are all clear, that you don't have any blocked holes. So this is what I have so far. So my thread is exiting this first hole here. We're going to go down through the hole we have not been through yet. So pull that down, just like that. Now we're going to pick up one of our cabochons, and you want to pick up from the left hole. So if you have these sitting flat down, you want to be picking up from the hole on the left. So we're going to set that down, put our needle through, bring that down. So now our threads exiting this cabochon, we're going to pick up another SuperDuo left hole, and you're going to bring that down. Now we're going to bring our needle back through the open hole of the SuperDuo we just went through. So we're going through this hole now, right here. Bring that through. And just kind of hold this. It's going to be awkward at first. Just pinch it between your fingers and hold it steady as you can. So now that you've brought your thread through the empty hole of the SuperDuo, we're going to pick up another 11/0 and another SuperDuo left hole. We're going to bring that down just like that. So this is going to encase the cabochon. So from here, we're going to bring our needle through the open hole that we haven't been through on this last SuperDuo, and we're going to go through the empty hole of the cabochon right there. Just the cabochon, because we're going to tie a knot right here. So just pull this together, set your needle down, and we're going to, so your threads should be meeting. Your tail thread where you started, and this is where we're coming out of the cabochon. So we're going to tie a knot here. So set your work down, take your tail thread, and we're going to cross that over our working thread. Come through the loop one time. We're just going to do a 1/2 hitch knot to start. Pull that together. Okay, now that we have that nice and snug, make sure that it's nice and tight, just like that. Now we're going to do another knot. This time we're going to bring our tail thread over. Let's get this out of the way. We're going to get our tail thread over and go through the loop twice. So come through. There's once. There's twice. And we're going to tie this other knot. Nice and snug, just like that. So that's what you should have. So from here, I'm going to leave my tail thread right there for now. And I'm going to go through the 11/0, and I'm going to go through this hole of my SuperDuo. So go through the 11/0 first, then the SuperDuo right there. Now we're going to bring our needle through the next hole of the SuperDuo and the cabochon, that hole that's right next to it. We're just getting this set up. Now we're going to go through this hole closest to the cabochon on the SuperDuo. So bring your needle through there. It's kind of awkward because of the angle, so just try to squeeze your needle in there the best way you can. Okay, now I'm turning this around. Our thread is coming out of the SuperDuo right here on the left side. I'm going to bring my needle down through the SuperDuo, this right hole, the 11/0, and the hole right after. So we're going through these 3 beads right there. So that is the start of our bracelet. So I'm going to set this down for a minute, and I want to weave my tail so that it's coming out in the same place but on the opposite side. So for just a moment, I'm going to take my tail thread and I'm going to put that on another needle. And the easiest way to thread your fireline is if you squeeze the tip with the flat nose. It will make threading your needle a lot easier. Alright, so I've got my needle threaded. I'm just going to turn this around, and I'm going to just advance my needle down through the 11-0 and the hole in my SuperDuo right after the 11-0. So that's where I want my tail thread coming out of, the opposite side of where I'm at. So for now, I'm just going to set this down. I'm going to leave that tail thread intact, and we're going to go back to our working thread. Okay, so from here, I'm exiting this SuperDuo here, the hole on the right hand side. So now I'm going to pick up an 11-0, a SuperDuo left hole, an 11-0, SuperDuo left hole, and an 11-0. So that's what you should have on your needle right there. So now we're going to take our needle and go back through our work. So that's going to make a little connector unit. So I'm going to bring my needle through the SuperDuo right hole, the 11-0, and the next SuperDuo. Now we're going to go up through the 11-0 and the SuperDuo right where your thread path, your existing thread path is. Pull that through. Bring your needle up through the 11-0 and the SuperDuo, same hole. So your thread's coming out of this left side of your SuperDuo. We're going to now advance our needle through the open hole of the SuperDuo, of the existing SuperDuo. And that's to set us up for the next step. So here we're going to add another cabochon. So we're going to pick up our cabochon, left hole, and like I said, make sure you're checking your multi-hole beads to make sure there's no blocked holes. I had one yesterday that it was blocked halfway through. So I'm going through my left hole, bringing that down, and I'm going to pick up another SuperDuo left hole, pull that together. Now I'm going to bring my needle through the empty hole of the SuperDuo where I'm exiting. So I'm going to go through the open hole, bring that down. Now I'm going to pick up an 11-0 and a SuperDuo left hole. Bring that down. So I'm exiting the left hole of my SuperDuo. I'm going to now bring my needle down through the open hole of the cabochon, and the open hole of the next SuperDuo right there. Pull your needle through and draw that all together by pulling that nice and tight. So that's what that should look like. So your thread's coming out of the SuperDuo here. We're going to go through the left hole of the SuperDuo, the 11-0, and the left hole of the next SuperDuo. So that's where your thread path is. So go ahead and pull your needle through. Now you're going to bring your needle through the right hole of the SuperDuo. You're going to go up through the left hole of the cabochon as you're facing this way. And you're going to go through the left hole of the SuperDuo. Now we're going to set it up. We're going to advance our needle down through the right hole of the cabochon, the 11-0, and the right hole of the next SuperDuo. So you're going through 3 beads. So now we're going to repeat this step. So I'll do this a couple more times and then I'll send you on your way. So we're exiting this SuperDuo here, right side. We're going to be adding another connector. So we need 2 more SuperDuos. So we're going to start with an 11-0 pick up an 11-0, going through the left hole of your SuperDuo, pick up another 11-0, left hole of SuperDuo, and 11-0. So you're picking these three 11-0s and SuperDuos in between. And then you're going to advance your needle through the SuperDuo right hole, 11-0, SuperDuo right hole. Okay, so now we need to advance around so that we're coming out of this hole this direction. So to do that, you advance through the 11-0, the left hole of the SuperDuo, the 11-0, and the left hole of this existing SuperDuo. Now you're going to come down the right hole to step up, and we're going to add our next cabochon. So I'll show you how to add the cabochon, and then I'll send you on your way, and you can rewind the video if you need to on how to do those 2 steps. So you're repeating those 3 steps actually. The first step was adding your beginner, and then you're repeating the second and third steps to do the rest of the bracelet until you get the length that you want. So we're exiting the SuperDuo right hole. We're picking up our cabochon, left hole, picking up another SuperDuo, left hole, bring that down, advance your needle through the empty hole of the SuperDuo. Now pick up an 11-0 and another SuperDuo left hole, bring that down. Just kind of pull that together. It's going to be kind of wonky until you get it all together. Now from here you're exiting this hole. You're going to bring your needle through the empty hole of the SuperDuo, the empty hole of the cabochon, and the empty hole of the SuperDuo next to the cabochon on the other side. Pull that together. And now we're going to advance our needle up through these 3 beads, SuperDuo, 11-0, SuperDuo, come down through the SuperDuo on the right, through the cab, up through the SuperDuo, and down. So we're going through left hole SuperDuo, 11-0, left hole SuperDuo. Come down through the right hole of the SuperDuo, and then up through the left hole of the cabochon, up through the left hole of the SuperDuo. We're just weaving our thread around, and now we're coming down through the SuperDuo, 11-0, SuperDuo on the right side. And that is the pattern for doing this bracelet. Super simple. You can just rewind and backtrack, and you're just going to repeat this step until you get the length of your bracelet. Okay, so I'll meet you back. All right, so here's where I am so far. I've decided to stop at about 6 inches here, and I've already added the end clasp here, and I'll show you how to do that, but I'm going to show you how to finish this. Now, it ended up being close to 6 inches with just the pattern, which we started with just 2 at the end, and we ended with 2. But I wanted a little more length, so I added the other half to complete this, or you can add a whole other component if you want to extend your length. So this is where I ended, and because I added one here, I'm going to add 2 more SuperDuos here at the end. So this is where I left off at the end of the bracelet. I'm going to pick up an 11-0, SuperDuo left hole, 11-0, SuperDuo left hole, and 11-0. And I'm going to go down through these 3 beads here, going through the right hole, 11-0, and right hole, bringing that down. Now I'm going to come back up through the 11-0, left hole of the SuperDuo, the next 11-0, and the left hole of the SuperDuo. Pull that nice and tight. Now I'm going to bring my needle down through the empty hole of the SuperDuo. So right here I'm going to pick up 3 11/0s, and this is where my jump ring is going to fasten. I'm going to go through the empty hole of the next SuperDuo, just like that. So my jump ring is just going to fasten to that, so I want to reinforce this. So I'm going to come back through the SuperDuo, the 11/0, the SuperDuo on the left side, pull that through. Now I'm going to come back through the SuperDuo, the 3 11/0s, SuperDuo, and I'm going to reinforce that one more time because that's where you get a lot of stress of the bracelet. So I think 3 times is a good number. So just repeat that same series of steps. And once you've gone through the 3 11/0s at the end, you're just going to now weave your thread down through your work. And I'm just going to come through and I'm going to go backwards this way, do a couple of half-hitch knots, and then I'm going to cut my thread. So right here is a good spot. I'm going to go ahead and go under a thread bridge like that. Pull that till you have a small loop, then bring your needle back through the loop and pull tight, and that is the half-hitch knot. Now I'm just going to go back through a few beads, and it doesn't matter what path you take, you just go backwards wherever it looks good and do your knots in place. So I'm just going backwards. Now I'm going to come down through my cabochon after this SuperDuo. If I can get my needle in there. There we go. I'm going to do another knot here. It's a very comfortable bracelet to wear. Doesn't take very long to make one of these. And there's a few other alternatives you can do with this. Now if you don't have SuperDuos, and I'm just going to go back through these 3 and I'm going to cut my thread right here. So I'm going to clip this off. If you don't have SuperDuos, you can use diamond duos, gem duos, anything that's a 2-hole, and I'll give you some pointers here. So to add our clasp, I'm just going to take my tools, take my jump ring, open that up, twist this towards me like that, and I'm going to slip on this through my little opening here, and now I'll put on the other half of my magnet clasp and close this. And you can get these magnet clasps. I usually get these from Amazon. Super simple. And there's our beautiful bracelet. And it's nice. It's got a nice flow and feel to it because it's got this backside that's flat. And you just pop that on with your magnet, and there is your bracelet. Very pretty. Very easy to do, very comfortable to wear. Lots of different color options. You could, change your accent colors and what have you. Now, the other thing that you can do with this, and I didn't go into it on this tutorial, so I will show you a couple of other different variations of this that you can do. Now, because I use the light thread, you can embellish the sides, which the original design didn't have any embellishing, so I kind of played around with this, and I did a different version. Let me raise my camera just a little. And I'll show you the other ones I did. Well, you saw the blue one. That was the first one. Then I thought, let's try some embellishing. So I wanted to do something different than a SuperDuo. So here's what I did. I've got, these are Diamond Duos in a black, and my cabochons in a silver. These are 6mm. And then I have my 11-0 connectors, 11-0 seed beads, and then I did 15-0s for the embellishment on this. And I just basically came back through, bringing my needle up through, you know, the one of the SuperDuos. You add your little 15-0s wherever randomly that you want. And this is the pattern. It kind of looks like a butterfly, doesn't that? And I thought, ooh, this is kind of cool looking. So, you know, this is another variation you can do on this basic design of a bracelet. You can get really wild and crazy. You know, you could even probably go a step further and add even more embellishing here, and it would really, you know, take it up a notch. So just wanted to share that with you, and then I'll show you one more piece I did. This is also, I did this with Diamond Duos instead of SuperDuos. And this one I really like a lot. I did this one with the silver over the pearlized white. Now these cabochons are a little bit bigger, as you can notice, so I didn't need quite as many. These are 8mm, so I only needed 8 of these. And this ended up being a 7.5-inch bracelet by the time I got done. Just beautiful. And nice flat back, because your Diamond Duos have a flat back, so it's very comfortable to wear. So there you have it. Different ways that you can take this up a notch. If you want me to do a tutorial to show you how to do the embellishment, leave me a comment, and I can certainly do an add-on video to this basic bracelet and show you how to add the embellishing. Very pretty. All right, that concludes today's tutorial. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and thanks for joining me today. I'll have links in the description box below with all the products used in today's tutorial. I have a website where I sell my own jewelry, and you'll see a link to that as well. If you're not a subscriber, I hope you do subscribe, because there's lots of benefits to being a subscriber. Check it out, and you'll be notified when I upload new videos. Plus, if you're a subscriber, I'm going to be having a giveaway when I hit 1,000 subscribers, so you'll have to be watching a video, because I'm not going to tell you which one it's going to be in, because I have no idea. Anyway, I'll have a great giveaway. Some lucky person will get lots of beautiful jewelry. And when I hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to do a random video, and that's how you enter. And unfortunately, I can only do mailings in the USA, so you have to be a USA resident in order to enter. All right, now I want to thank all of you that have subscribed and keep coming back to watch my video and sharing the link. I really do appreciate you coming back. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Happy beading, and I'll see you next time.